Tom, let's dig deeper tonight into religion and the election. Joining us now to give us more insight on our talker this evening, Dr. Robert B. Jones. He's the CEO and co-founder of the Public Religion Research Institute. Dr. Jones, thank you for coming in.
Hi, thanks for having me.
There was a time when it was said that this country would never elect, and then JFK came along. There was a time when people said this country would never elect an African-American, and then Barack Obama came along. It doesn't seem like Mitt Romney's Mormonism is playing that big a role anymore. What do you think of that?
Well, it certainly played less of a role in the general election than it did in the primary election. It was quite an issue when he was trying to make his appeal to evangelical voters in the primary when he was running against Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum, who had very significant support among white evangelical voters. But as he became really the presumptive nominee and then the nominee, what we've really seen is white evangelical voter support really jump right into line to levels that's very consistent with where white evangelicals have supported candidates in the last couple of elections, John McCain and George W. Bush. About 3/4 of white evangelical likely voters are saying that they're going to support Mitt Romney this election.
What are Catholics supposed to do this time around? The church at least came out against portions of Obamacare, which forced the church to provide contraceptives for employees of the church. And then you turn around and the other side of Catholicism promotes the fact that giving to the poor and a lot of the democratic values.
Right. Well, one of the things that you already mentioned is that we have two vice presidential candidates who are both Catholic, and they both represent varying different emphasis of the Catholic Church in their own way. And one of the things we're seeing this year is that Catholics really have two options really presented to them, both faithful to Catholic teaching. One on consistent with the bishop's teaching on right to life, one consistent with teaching on social justice. In a recent survey that we did, we found that among rank and file Catholics, interestingly enough, they say 2 to 1 that they'd like to see more of an emphasis from church leaders on social justice issues rather than right to life issues, and that divide falls out the way you would think it would. About 6 in 10 of those who say they'd like to see more emphasis on a social justice footprint for the church are supporting Obama, and about 2/3 of those who say they'd like to see more of a right to life emphasis in public statements from the church are supporting Mitt Romney. So we see quite a tug of war, and Catholics are really up for grabs in this election.
Same for the Jewish vote. I mean, a recent poll I saw coming out of Israel, a vast majority of those there support Mitt Romney, and then here in the United States, not as much of a landslide, but still, I'm sure, a faction among the Jews.
Well, the Jewish vote is actually pretty solidly in Barack Obama's camp. We did a survey in the spring. He was polling around 2/3 of Jews, and the last numbers I've seen have him 7 and 10, polling 7 and 10 American Jews support. I mean, one factor here that's interesting is that American Jews, like the rest of the country, are really voting on the economy this year, and it's their perception of which candidate has the best plan for the economy that's really driving the Jewish vote this year.
What do you make of President Obama not putting religion at the forefront like so many presidents have in the past? We rarely see pictures of him going to church like we have in previous administrations dating back Bill Clinton and beyond.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting if you take church attendance as a proxy. I mean, Ronald Reagan didn't go to church that much either. But what we see is, I think it's fair to say that we heard more about religion from candidate Obama than we have from President Obama. We've tended to hear more from President Obama at official occasions, official pronouncements, those sorts of things. But we hear it every now and then in some speeches when he refers to, my brothers, we should be our brothers and sisters keepers, when he appeals to the golden rule. It's those sorts of things. But I think it's right to say that neither candidate has really wanted to bring this to the forefront, and both have, I think, seen it as something of a liability in this election cycle and have largely steered clear.
All right, Dr. Robert Jones, co-founder of Public Religion Research Institute. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you.